Fleet Week, Nether Rise by David Redstone, sequel to Fleet Week Evanescence. Exterior, Lake Erie, underwater, late night. A large walleye with eyes glowing reflective white hovers above a rock formation. It descends slowly and sweeps its head side to side. The fish suddenly darkens as a giant shadow passes above. A pressure wave propels the walleye down where it bounces softly on the bottom. Dark water lightens as the lake surface fast approaches. Exterior, Lake Erie, surface, continuous. Coast Guard cutter Skua glides over calm water. The full moon shines directly overhead. Ahead and off to the right, a beacon flashes rhythmically. Interior, bridge, Coast Guard cutter, continuous. Lisette Behrens, late 20s, attractive, in black jeans and light gray sweatshirt, stands behind a bridge chair. On the seat rests a black satchel. Chief Petty Officer Valerio, late 30s, in khakis, pilots the cutter. Lieutenant Faxton, 30s, in khakis, stands just behind them.
C-O-M-A-R-E. Communications Area Reconnaissance? Something?
They won't even tell me.
No need to know, right? Green Island.
Valerio points out a bridge window at a flashing light tower on the island's beach. The cutter skims quietly past.
How scenic.
Enjoy, man, because it's flatlined from here all the way out to West Sister Island. You hear of Comair, Captain?
You'd think I would have. Commander of all recon?
The cutter jars sharply, then yaws to starboard. Valerio quickly spins the wheel to compensate. Lisette tightly grips the chair backrest and crouches down.
Trying to hang us up on a reef?
Valerio checks the fathometer.
95 feet clear to the bottom, sir.
Did we lose the port engine?
Valerio scans some gauges.
Cold normal. Willis gave it 5 by 5. You know his work, Captain.
Yeah, I know it all right.
The cutter swings left and begins to recover.
Damnation. It's like a whale broadsided us. Is it mating season?
I think whales do that anytime they get the urge.
The cutter resumes their original heading.
Same as people, sir.
Valerio glances at Lisette, then winks back at Faxton.
Of course, it could be the Erie Lake Ness monster who wants to be on TV right now.
Lisette twists around to address Faxton.
Just how big are the whales in this lake, Captain Faxton?
Valerio and Faxton both smirk.
Assholes.
While turned back to Faxton, Lisette sees a flash through the bridge's aft windows. A glowing, silvery upper half torso of a man appears near the starboard rail of the open aft deck. Lisette's eyes widen in shock. Faxton drops his grin.
What's the matter?
The image flickers and then disappears. Valerio shakes his head and laughs as Lisette faces front.
Nothing. Fine. I'm fine. It's just a reflection or something.
Exterior, Lake Erie, surface, continuous. Skua heads towards a distant flashing light. Several minutes pass. Interior, bridge, Coast Guard cutter, continuous. Lisette unzips the black satchel. Faxton approaches her. He points out the forward windows at the flashing white light, getting closer.
All by her lonesome.
Yeah, lucky. The isolation, I mean.
She removes an expensive camcorder from the satchel.
So I guess they've got an East Sister Island?
Yep, Canadian side.
Anybody live on this one?
Faxton shakes his head.
What about other boats? Anyone who saw this thing land?
Besides the fishermen, no. Another break. Well, that plus the time of night.
Faxton points towards the island.
Commodore Perry defeated the British fleet just over there.
Nice. Commodore who?
Oliver Hazard Perry. On the way back, I'll point out his monument.
He was in the Revolutionary War.
War of 1812.
And they made a statue of him?
It's a tower.
Captain, gonna start swinging a bit south now.
Faxton nods. The cutter gradually turns left. West Sister Island appears out the bridge starboard windows.
The marker light should appear any minute now.
The cutter suddenly jars, then yaws sharply to the left. Exterior, Lake Erie, surface, continuous. West Sister Island swings between Skua as the cutter whirls in the tight half circle. Interior, bridge, Coast Guard cutter, continuous.
The hell are you doing?
Valerio rapidly spins the wheel. The cutter rocks side to side. Faxton stumbles to the port windows and scans the water. Valerio gradually brings Skua under control.
Captain, what the fuck is going on? What did we run into?
Uncharted rock formations? Val?
Lake level's down, but there are no reefs or anything in the area.
Well, let's not run aground, okay, Chief?
Captain, I know these waters. Something is banging into us.
Really? You got any suggestions?
None, sir. There's nothing alive big enough in this lake, able to do that.
Silence as the cutter moves past West Sister Island. On the surface, a red light shows through the bridge forward windows. Seconds later, several more red lights appear.
Showtime, Miss Behrens.
Lisette nods, then points towards the aft deck.
I'll shoot from there. Just me.
Skua approaches a colossal black outline on the surface.
Christ! How the hell did it miss the island?
Damn near as big as an island.
Any of your people on it, Captain?
We never boarded her.
Good. Can we do one circuit before I go aboard?
The engines rev down slightly and the cutter slows.
You want them on?
Faxton indicates the two floodlights mounted on the forward deck.
No, not yet.
Faxton looks out alertly through the bridge side windows.
5 knots, Val. But be ready to kick it.
The engine fades to a purr. Skua creeps slowly past the hulk. From the satchel, Lisette removes a watertight pouch. She zips it around all but the camcorder lens and viewfinder. Faxton puts on his officer hat, then walks to the rear bridge hatch and opens it. Exterior, bridge walkway, Coast Guard cutter, continuous. Lisette steps onto the narrow walkway. Faxton follows, then they get to the ladder.
Need a hand?
I'll be A-okay, Captain.
She awkwardly descends the ladder to the deck. Faxton steps back to the bridge hatchway. Exterior, aft deck, Coast Guard cutter, continuous. Lisette looks around, apprehensive. She raises the camcorder, aims it at the hulk. The cutter suddenly angles down to port, then quickly rights itself. Lisette glances at Faxton. Faxton gives her a thumbs up. She takes a small step towards the starboard rail. Exterior, bridge walkway, Coast Guard cutter, continuous. Faxton looks in through the bridge hatchway behind.
Keep it steady, Val.
Aye, sir. Wouldn't want a blurry movie now, would we?
Faxton smiles, then glances back to check on Lisette. She points the camcorder at the hulk. Lisette suddenly jerks sideways towards the port rail. The camcorder flies out of her hand, hits the water, and sinks. She screams. An unseen force propels Lisette up and over the rail.
What the? Hey!
Her scream cuts off abruptly as Lisette splashes into the lake and disappears beneath. Faxton moves to the ladder, grabs the rails, and slides down. Exterior, aft deck, Coast Guard cutter, continuous. Faxton rushes to the port side.
Hey! Hey! Miss Behrens!
He leans over the rail, scans the dark water.
Son of a bitch! What was
The
it?
camcorder pops to the surface a dozen yards away.
Miss Behrens?
Faxton turns and unhooks a life rig on the side of the ladder, then flings it over the port rail. He faces the bridge and cups his hands around his mouth.
Val! Hard to port! Swing her around hard to port!
Skua picks up speed and begins to angle left. An upward force slams under the cutter on its port side. The deck angles sharply to starboard. Faxton topples over onto his back. His officer hat comes off, rolls, and then dribbles off the deck and into the lake. He slides across to the starboard rail, then goes under it feet first. Faxton barely catches the rail's bottom bar with both hands. He swings free, and his feet brush the lake surface. He flexes his knees, twists his body towards the deck behind him. Skua rights herself, then slants down sharply to port. Faxton slides headfirst under the rail, rolls onto and across the deck. He struggles to his feet near the ladder. Another terrific force bashes up into the cutter from astern. Skua's bow pitches down, and Faxton falls up the ladder. He crashes into the bulkhead next to the bridge hatch. Exterior, bridge walkway, Coast Guard cutter, continuous. The cutter's bow rises slowly. When she's nearly level, Faxton slips through the bridge hatchway. Interior bridge, Coast Guard cutter, continuous. Faxton slams shut the bridge aft hatch, dogs it, then stumbles towards Valerio. They grab onto bridge fixtures as Skua pitches up and down.
Christ's sakes, Val! The floods!
Valerio trips the floodlight switches.
Where the hell's our passenger?
Over the side, you didn't see?
I'm trying to keep that bastard, whatever, from sinking us.
Her sweatshirt should be easy to spot. Keep your eyes peeled.
Faxton reaches for the transmitter.
Captain, we're not supposed to...
Stow it! No one back there figured on this shit.
Valerio stares through the forward windows and points.
Hey.
See her? Get bulb lights on her.
No. That.
Faxton squints at where Valerio is pointing.
Can't see a bloody thing. Foxtrot, Victor 6. This is November Tango 1. Come in, please.
That bridge, or out there?
Directly ahead, Faxton sees a wall of black water rise. Valerio rapidly spins the wheel.
No! Keep it in front of us. Let's not get swamped.
On it!
Valerio reverses direction on the wheel.
Foxtrot Victor 6, this is November Tango 1. We require immediate assistance. Over.
November Tiger 1, roger your last. Status on cargo, over.
Captain! Holy mother of...
Through the bridge forward windows, the flickering outline of something huge appears a few hundred yards ahead.
0 heading. All stop. Cargo adrift. Foxtrot Victor 6. I say again, cargo...
Damnation!
The rising blue flickering outline becomes discernible as a heavily armed surface warship.
Jesus jumping Christ on deck. All back. Keep our nose on her.
Valerio spins the wheel and reverses the cutter's throttle.
Foxtrot Victor 6. Get somebody the fuck out here ASAP.
Captain!
We have an enemy vessel.
A triangular shape on the warship's forward deck glows dull orange, brightens to yellow, then to bluish-white.
I don't like the looks of...
A bluish-white beam lances out from the warship and hits the cutter directly beneath her bow. The cutter pitches sharply forward. Faxton and Valerio fall into and shatter the bridge windows. Exterior, Lake Erie, surface, continuous. Lisette bobs to the surface 100 yards from the cutter. She chokes, catches her breath, then twists around until she sees Skua. A bluish-white area at the cutter's bow grows and engulfs the entire hull. The cutter explodes.
No! My God!
Lisette turns from the burning, exploding remnants of Coast Guard cutter Skua and swims away frantically. She treads water, looks down, and stops. Below her, a black, shiny object opens like a coffin. Lisette screams as she's forced into it by a bluish-white flickering arm. The object closes, and then it disappears underneath. Fade to black.